What's up, friend, and welcome to the second podcast episode of the channel. I don't know if you have been here for a while, but last year we recorded an awesome episode with Danny Stone, and today we sit down with one of my really good friends and musicians, artists, Chris Iacob. We have such an amazing conversation about life and fishing and music and the industry and social media, but the best part to me about this entire conversation was hearing him talk about how he went from just networking with local people and using that to get to his dream, which was opening up a main stage at a festival. It is a super inspiring story, and I'm just stoked to welcome Chris Iacob to the podcast. Enjoy. I think you had made this comment at some point. You were saying, because I think we maybe talked on the phone or something, maybe, and we were talking about fishing, and we were talking about the same thing of like, you know, it's this activity that you see that you're like, oh yeah, I could do that. You know, just how hard can it get? Yeah, it's like so simple. And then you realize it's like so nuanced, and such a simple activity can have all these different things. Like the other day I was talking to a bowling guy who's like bowled his whole life. And I really like bowling. I don't go all the time. I did a lot when I was a kid, and I was like one of those things I was just naturally really good at for some reason. And so I had like I wouldn't even call it a deep understanding, but I had an understanding of like, you know, how to bowl decently well just from people around me. And then you talk to a guy he literally talks about like how the temperature affects and the humidity affects the wood grain and the oils in the wood, and how like he knows when he can walk into a bowling alley and he throws one ball a certain way on purpose to get all the data points of the lane. And so he knows like if it spins a certain way and does certain things, then he adjusts his entire game based off of that one throw. And it was, when I was hearing him talk about it, it made me think of this kind of this conversation that we had before, where it was like, dude, it's so funny. It's so easy to look at something and judge it and be like, oh, that's easy. I could do that or whatever. And then
it's not worth my, you know, my interest or my time. And then you find out that there's a difference between like, you know, the casual, you know, first timers or, you know, people who do it, and then the people who actually know what they're doing.
Right.
Like there's a massive, you know, there's levels obviously. But you know, if we go fishing, you're probably going to watch me have multiple conniptions. I might actually crash out, because I'm telling you, I'll start off so hopeful. I'll start off so pumped, and then I'll get a snag. I'm like, oh, it's whatever. You know, if I can get it out, that's great. Then I'll cut the line and, you know, set my new bait. But probably about 2 hours into it, I just start getting real frustrated. Like,
oh, you start getting angry.
Yes, because it is one of those things where for all the time that I've invested, and as it progressively gets worse, I start like loathing the fact that it's great when you catch something, you know, it's great when you get a little bit of action. But if you go like a couple hours with nothing, I don't have, like, to me, there's so many things I'm interested in that give me like, not instant gratification, but like there's, you know, measurable progress that I enjoy. I enjoy tracking like, oh, I was here and now we've done this effort and now we're here. With fishing, it literally feels like you're building a project and then you get a snag and then you have to restart the whole thing. And it's like this repetitive like cycle. And especially like, you know, obviously there's some peace to it. You're out in nature, you know, it's not that serious. But when everyone else is catching stuff and you're not, you literally, like, I'm speaking from recent experiences. So obviously I'm seething with like the fact that, you know, now my reel is mangled. I have like this, you know, knot that I can't get out. And then I flip my kayak.
Gets so mad.
And then that was
the
like,
final straw.
That was the last time I went fishing this summer. After I flipped
so funny.
Because so what had happened was like I was like, oh, I'll get this last cast in, and I was sideways floating down the river, and we're coming up to a fork, and I'm like, I'll get this last cast with like this, almost like a gambler's hope that I'm about to catch something, which obviously I haven't caught anything all day. Why do I think this last cast? And I'm cutting it to like the last moment. And then it's like time to like load up the fishing pole and then pull out the paddles and start like deciding which way I'm going to take this fork. And obviously the direction the nose is going is probably the best way to like go that way. Well, by the time I like hit the fork, it was too late.
Oh no!
It just tipped everything, and fishing pole was floating down the river. All my stuff,
and that's where your phone went.
And that's how my phone got jacked up.
Oh, that's such a bummer.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
Since then, I've
hated fishing.
Well, no, I don't hate it, but I just haven't had a desire to get back on it.
Yep. All right, I'm going to pause really quick right here for a moment for our sponsors. If you enjoy what you're listening to and watching and enjoy this channel, please check this out. This is Quiztones. They've been sponsoring this channel since, I think, the second or third video, and it is the most perfect sponsor of this channel because I've been using them for over 10 years. Like, honestly, I remember whenever I was just starting out as an engineer working on cruise ships, actually, and I had somebody come in and told me my mix was harsh, and I just didn't understand how to fix it. And so I started Googling and trying to figure out what I could do to improve my ear, improve how to EQ things, how to hear things, how to listen to things. And Quiztones was honestly what I downloaded. And I just loved how easy it was to use and how quick I could get my ears trained. It took me about 2 weeks of literally plugging my phone into the system and doing a bunch of frequency challenges, and it gives you a grade over time so that you can kind of see how you're doing and see how you're improving. So I've walked through this app a couple of times, but one of the coolest things that I want to tell you about is you can do tones, EQ, and gain, not just tones. There's actual EQ boosts, and this is where I really had the best benefit. So if you click EQ right here, there's all these different things: acoustic guitar, drums, electric bass. But the coolest thing is you can actually import your own audio. So you can import your own mixes or mixes you love, and it will boost random sets of frequencies. We're just gonna go just here, just for now, begin quiz. And it boosts random sets of frequencies, and then you guess which ones it is, basically. And this is just a really good way to fine-tune your ear, because we all need help when it comes to knowing what frequencies to boost or cut. So I highly recommend you can go check this out. You can check it out at the App Store, or just go to the link down in the description. And then the last thing I wanted to tell you about is this new school group that I made about a month ago called Mix and Momentum. It is an incredible group of people in there that are audio engineers, mixing engineers, producers, and there's a couple songwriters in there. There's a bunch of different people at different levels in their career inside this group, and so it's a really fun way to connect with other people that are where you want to be and learn from them. Every single week on Monday, we have a meetup for about an hour, hour and a half, and we all get on there and just talk about our goals for the week, what we want to accomplish, and big wins that are happening inside of our life and our career. And it's just an awesome way to find people that are going through the same struggles that you are and trying to get somewhere awesome in their audio career. So if you want to check that out, go click that in the description. It's completely free. And that's all. Back to the podcast. Peace.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I can kind of relate, because whenever I first started fishing, like literally just started fishing. So I just started fishing in Montana, and the first like days fishing was like, at first I was kind of, whatever. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I have nothing. Somebody gave me a rod. I don't even know. I put the wrong line on it. All I had was 20-pound line.
Oh, really heavy.
Just like super heavy, and it was like a really light, compact kind of reel. And so every like fifth cast, it would all just come undone because it wasn't made for that heavy, It was ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. And so there were so many. And in Montana, the places we were at, a lot of times you have to hike to go fishing. So you like hike out to, wherever it was. And that's like the best fishing, because no one's there and there's so many fish there and it's whatever. And so you'd get all the way out there, and then there was one time where it was my first cast, the whole spool came out, and I was like, well, that was fun. And just packed it up and put it away.
Yeah, I would have lost my shit, dude. I would have been like, No, I definitely would have brought it back.
I tried to. I just don't really know what I'm doing, and so I was like, this is too much to figure out right now. I'm just gonna enjoy and I think it's because for me anyway, like I like just such a beginner, and I'm not like trying to, go catch a bunch of fish or anything like that.
I mean, anything you catch is exciting.
Yeah, it's so awesome. I caught like a little tiny something, and I was like, yeah, you just feel, I don't know, I feel like a child basically.
I mean, there is definitely something to that excitement. I mean, but
to me, it's like core.
Yeah, to me, there's other ways to get like excitement that is more guaranteed and less of,
Yep.
And the thing is, when we go floating or I've gone fishing, I would never choose to go fishing by myself. It's just, why would I make myself miserable on purpose, But with these with these groups of people that I go fishing with, they're all really good at fishing. Like most of my friends, like fishing is one of their like top 5 hobbies. Like they do it, often and whenever they can. And so anytime I've had success, it's really been because they've helped me out. They're like, use this, cast here, try this. But they'll catch really big fish and then, tell me to do something in the same area. And I mean, to be honest, the closest I've gotten to having like a really successful fishing trip was just like dropping my hook and like,
like literally where you're
dropping where like I know that there's gonna be fish in there, like a little like rock outcropping, and just like letting it feed in there, and then just pulling out like small little rock bass or something.
Nice.
And I'm like, okay, I get it, but I wasn't even using a pole. I was just like dropping it in with my hand.
Yeah,
and feeding
that's
it.
Kind of awesome.
Feeding it in.
That's kind of awesome. That's how I learned I was doing something wrong, because I was way out at a lake. It was like the second time I went way out to go fish, and it was the craziest, because it takes like 3 or 4 hours to get out to hike out there, and so it's just a place that's flooded with all these fish, and it's like the 4th lake I think because the water comes down and gets to this lake and then this lake and then this lake, and so it was just full of fish. And we got up there and the mosquitoes and the bugs were so bad because they love that alpine environment. And so it was hundreds of fish jumping everywhere, all over the place. I'd never seen anything like it. To me, it felt like this is how lakes probably were before humans, because it was just...
That's how this fishing guy described the lakes up there. He said that's why you got up there. You get on a kayak and then they all connect to each other, and you're just going from like fish, haven to fish haven. And it's like a camping trip. He'll take people out for a week or 2. Wow. And it's like pretty cool. That's cool. But that's what he described as like they were erupting out of the water.
Oh yeah. That's what it was. It was a guy told me about it on the way up that was from Tennessee actually. And I was like, I thought he was kind of exaggerating because he was a fisherman guy, And then Sierra and I went up there and we were looking out like we just had never seen anything like that. It was just so many fish. And it was embarrassing because I had my hook and whatever I had on it, I didn't really have a lot at that time, but the water's so clear up there. You see them. It's obvious. And I can just see like 5 of them. And so I would throw it out there and I kind of start pulling it back, and they'd all like look at it and they'd swim to it and be like, nah. And go off.
You could see them get close to it too.
Yeah, they get right on it. Yeah. They'll chase it, and then at the last minute, like, no, that's a human. I'm not doing that.
I guess so. My most successful fishing experience was that glacier trip with my friends.
Maybe you just need that pole.
I just need a little child's pink pole. And, go fishing with that, because every time I've like actually taken it serious, have a tackle box, like go out there with some gear, and it's been rough. Yeah,
one thing I learned that helped a lot was I was a random YouTube guy because I got really desperate, and that's how I caught the fish that I caught and ate. Is he said, because I am a person that will try something forever.
Like, even if you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. I'll just. I don't know.
Maybe it'll work this time.
Yeah, maybe I'm just doing it slightly wrong in the way I'm doing it. I'll just keep going and keep going and keep going, and I can just go forever, like without really switching it up too much. And so this one guy was watching. He was like, "Dude, if it doesn't work for like 10, 15 minutes, you need to switch your hook, your bait, like that's how he does it."
Wow.
So he'll do some stuff, and if it's like 10, 15 minutes, you switch. because obviously they don't like that. That's
Yeah.
kind of how he sees it. He's like, well, that doesn't work.
That's
and
actually
so
pretty wise.
it was really cool. And
Yeah.
that's how I caught that one fish, because I tried something in my window that I had, my weather window.
Yeah.
I tried something, didn't catch anything, because you can see them all hopping everywhere. And then I tried another thing, then I tried another thing. And then I tried something I didn't want to try. And it was like a power bait or something like that on a fly, I think it was. And I was like, let me just try this and see what happens. And it was like the first time I threw it out there and I started bringing it back, and I was just watching it float on the water, and then this fish grabbed it, and it was just it was so exciting. It was like the best feeling in the whole world. But that was one technique I learned that did not work at all the rest. I didn't catch any more fish the rest of the time. So I tried that on a few places and it didn't do anything.
I feel like that principle of like, if you're trying it for 10, 15 minutes, it's not working, can also be applied to music.
Oh, dude.
That is so crucial, because that repetitiveness, that like pounding, trying to force something that's not working. I definitely have been caught in that trap where I'm like, I'm forcing this, and then it's only getting almost worse. You're like overdoing it. But then sometimes it's easier to just, well, that didn't work. Let's, group this, title it idea 1, and then create idea 2.
Yep.
And then do the same thing, 10, 15 minutes. If you can't get that, then go to idea 3. And typically between idea 3 and idea 5 or 6, I find the perfect melody or the perfect part that was missing in the song.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I really like that. I do that same thing with mixing, actually. And it can be not good in the mixing side.
Staying locked into the...
if I like open up a session to mix and it's about 10, 15, 20 minutes or something, and I'm just not getting it where I want it, I'll easily leave it and be like, I got to come back to it. I can't keep going, because I can't like for me in mixing, I don't want to hear the song too many times.
Yeah,
because you lose
stale.
it.
Yeah,
and you lose that. You like, I want to keep that energy of like a fan,
Right.
I want to be a fan as long as possible. So those first few listens are really important. And so if I can't make something happen in those, first few listens that I'm going through it, then I have to just put it away.
Yeah, that's
no matter
actually
what.
Pretty smart principle to have.
It's cool. It works really well for me, but it can also be like not good.
Yeah, because
sometimes I'll put off things for a few days, a week, and I'll have to, this doesn't happen all the time. It just can happen to where I'll like call the client and be like, hey, so if you're cool, it's not going to be done, this week. Obviously, if there's a deadline, you have to get it done. But most of the time, people are pretty open, because I'm just honest. I'm like, hey, for whatever reason, I'm just not feeling this thing. I know it's there. I know it's 100% there. I can get it there, but it's just for some reason it's not the right vibe or the right feeling, or like the headspace you're in.
Yeah, headspace matters a lot.
Oh, it does, because you can relate to like making music. Like there's those moments where you're in that perfect flow state and everything's so easy, and mixing can be like that, where you just it's like some of the best mixes I've had took like 45 minutes, because I knew every move to make, and you just go through and nail it. And it's so fun and hard chasing that
because once
state.
you've experienced that state, then everything else feels like you're. But the thing is, I understand that state isn't a guarantee, and that state comes when it does.
Yeah.
And so the best way to achieve that state more frequently is to put up with the time in the seat doing the stuff that doesn't feel like that.
Totally.
And I mean, in one session, if I'm going, yesterday I started working at like what time do you think it was, babe? What time did I start working on music yesterday? Like in the afternoon? Yeah, it was like 1, and then I didn't wrap up until like 9:30. But in my mind, it was like, it didn't feel like that. Like I lost track of time.
Yeah.
Like it literally just, you hit that state where, but within that session, there were times where I was like hitting kind of like roadblocks, and you got to power through those.
Yeah.
Typically, like,
for sure.
if I hit one of those, I think now, because I'm familiar with myself and how I create, I can force it.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. It's like literally, it might be that thing is like, try out all these dumb ideas and then group them and then move on to the next thing. Or don't be afraid. So because I work on my own music, I have the freedom to just, break all the rules.
Right.
Yesterday, I started working on one song that was initial like demo idea. And that song is like 98% done today as a completely different song.
Oh, wow.
Different key, different genre, different everything. I don't know how to explain it, but that's what it is. It's like, I think Ed Sheeran had a statement where he said it was like, you're going through a pipe and there's diamonds in that pipe, but you're getting like a bunch of crap before you get to those diamonds.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like what it
You
felt
gotta
like.
keep going through the
you
pipe.
have to keep going.
Yeah,
if
totally.
you quit at the moment you, in those hour of like frustration, you're not gonna, you're delaying the amount of time between, diamonds. So,
Yeah.
And the thing is what you were saying about like listening to it too much. I've already listened to that song probably like since it's been done or since I've exported the file 100 times maybe. Literally I woke up, I went to sleep listening to it. I woke up listening to it. I played it like 15 times today and a bunch last night. And then also while I was making it.
And that's important because from the creation standpoint, that's really important. I can relate to that with like creating videos and creating, marketing type things. Like dude, I will.
You watch your videos
bad.
so over and over and over again.
Oh yeah.
And obsessed about the tiniest little details.
Yeah.
Well, so with mine, it's lately I've been allowing a little bit of roughness around the edges to give myself forgiveness for, what ideally would be a perfect song, right? Because if you have an expectation of having a perfect song every time, you're just going to be disappointed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you kind of have to just let it live in its own, like every song is its own experience and entity to me. And so it really just comes out to, doing it. Yeah. Sometimes overthinking it or like wanting it to be more than what it is limiting to you.
Yeah.
And
yeah, dude, I love that you're saying that. One of the things that I've been like trying to live by these past few weeks, I heard this phrase that action beats perfection every time.
Facts.
It's like,
yeah.
I heard that one phrase and I was like, oh man, that is so true. Because there's been so many points in my life where I've accidentally reached what I would say was perfection, not out of like trying to make anything perfect at all or thinking of it that way.
You didn't set out with that plan.
No. I was just excited about something and went for it as hard as I could because it was exciting. It was like fueling me. And it turned into maybe not even that project, but the next one, it turned into this like perfect thing that I look back on like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. And I have to remind myself that too with like videos.
Yeah.
Because music, I don't know, I just have I've gotten to like a flow similar to what you're talking about. You kind of figure, yourself and you know how you work best and you kind of get into a rhythm of it. And like the video stuff is hard for me sometimes. It's just such a different animal. It's like a different world.
Of course.
And I can get trapped in like literally the last 2 videos I've fully filmed and edited, I deleted. Because of some who knows, some dumb thing that it's not perfect or whatever. And it's funny because I can speak what we're talking about so easily with music, but whenever I turn to that, it's so funny. My natural thing will be like, nope, not good enough, out. It's gone.
With video, I think, especially when you're working on your own video, it's like working on your own voice. Like if you're recording your own voice.
Oh yeah, like singing or
because
that's a good way to put that.
A big or working on my own music, but it's different when it's my voice because I can listen to somebody else's voice all day.
Yeah.
When it comes to my voice, I hear every flaw, everything that I like am subconscious about, everything that makes me feel good and bad. And I've obviously been producing for a while, so I'm trying to incorporate more of my voice in my productions. just to add another piece of like personality and,
Totally.
identity branding to myself. And it's hard. It's hard because what I like and what I can do is, there's such a big gap. There's such a big gap between, and I'm not even talking about singing. Like I'm talking about like, whispering lyrics or like creating like an underlying chant of literally just going like, yeah, or like,
Right.
woo, just like ad lib stuff like that. Hearing myself do it, there's like a barrier in my brain where it's like I can't allow it to be good. It just, it's like this. Maybe it's self-conscious or insecure like sensation, but when I like listen to other people's, like you scroll through like, sample libraries and you're hearing like good and bad stuff, but it doesn't affect you at all. Like,
Totally.
you don't have any emotional connection to it.
Right.
And so like a lot of my tracks have definitely had, recently that I've been making have had like actual vocal recordings that I've done. And then when it comes to mixing, I like put them like back in the mix when realistically I could bring them out more, but it's just because I'm trying to like one of my big, desires in my music journey is to bring my voice into the music one way or another.
Dude, I love that so much.
It's even if it's, like maybe spoken word or just like a phrase at a drop. I make EDM, so like anything works,
Yeah.
It's more of that. Now I have recorded stuff that I am proud of and I like, but it's never gonna be, I have to allow the same thing of like a little bit of roughness, just give myself some forgiveness to make it, acceptable to myself. And
That's beautiful.
In that, in that journey, I definitely, it's a struggle. It's a lot of, you have to sit with it. And sometimes, you're tempted to select all and delete, bro. I'm telling you, like,
Totally.
I probably in every single project file that I've, of the songs that I have put out, there is like a vocal section where I've tried singing on it or I've tried throwing my vocals on it. And then I just never, I was like, it's gonna ruin it, and so I just
ruin everything I did.
Put it on mute. But I'm getting more and more confident and comfortable with
good.
Moving that way, because at the end of the day, like what my music to me means is, after I'm gone on this earth, like, well, it's weird for us because we have social media, and people will be able to see your digital footprint, but I feel like if people will listen to my music, they'll be able to like understand some of the emotions that I experienced.
Totally.
Because that's my music captures like they're like emotional time capsules for me.
Yeah. Almost like an emotional diary kind of.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that you're starting to use like a little bit. I have lately, and I've been seeing it too in the music industry. It's been really cool, but I've lately craved a lot of that kind of like rough around the edges stuff put into music.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people start to do that recently because we went through such a stage of kind of like music perfection. For a long time.
We've like achieved, and I hate to say it, but like we've probably heard everything done essentially that could be done.
Yeah.
Like it's a blessing.
Especially in that way, in the digital,
the digital way,
world. Because
Like,
everything
right now,
can be just so nuanced, perfect.
Right. You have such a fine edge that you can carve in the sound, but you can control every aspect of it.
Right.
Whereas like, older music, there's so much that was, left to chance, gear, frequencies that, just were there.
Yep. And there's limitations and
and
it created like so much emotion too.
Yeah.
With like some of that stuff.
Well, it definitely captures the emotion and the mindset of that time. Like, I feel like to segue into the DJing that I've been experiencing.
I want to hear about this.
Well, what I've learned is that I thought I knew music, but I don't. Like I know EDM, but I don't know Motown or 50s, 60s, 70s. There's so many songs that as a DJ, you should, obviously, if you're going to be like a festival artist, it doesn't matter. You just play your own music. But as like a DJ, from a DJ's perspective, the more familiar you are with, you know, the best songs of every genre, the top hits, the music that's going to resonate with most people, the more successful you're going to be at, you know, controlling the energy and the vibe.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been learning a lot is like, oh, there's so many levels to just discography. Like, you know, decades of, you know, what are the best songs to pull from each genre that serve the flow of the set.
Right.
And it's
that's huge, man.
Yeah, you realize like programming, this is something I've recently learned, is like programming matters more than anything else. Matters almost more than audio quality. Programming.
I agree.
What song and the emotion that song evokes out of the crowd is the number one priority. And if you can, with every song selection as you play through your set, keep elevating the energy, keep bringing on a new excitement, because there's so much good music. We live in a time where, like we said, everything's kind of already been done. And not to say that there's not going to be new good music. Of course there is. But we live in like no one has saturation. You can listen to any kind of music from anywhere in the world at any time.
Basically
endlessly.
for free.
Yeah, basically for free. For as long, you know, there's just not enough time to listen to every song.
Yeah.
And so then if you're going through like the top 40s, or that's a big term, but essentially like the best songs of, or the most well-known songs of their time, you just realize like, yeah, the things that I've been so hyper-focused on doesn't translate. It doesn't carry over into like nobody, like the audience doesn't care. Like from the techno, my obsession has been misdirected. Yeah. You know?
Oh.
Yeah. Like
your attention has been misdirected.
Yes, because of like I've been focused on technique and like perfection in technicality, and not like the actual, like what makes a song resonate with so many people. And you know, oftentimes they cover a vast, you know, array of subjects, but sometimes it's like as simple like a love song. But what makes a love song good? Well, obviously so many factors. But if that love song, like, or any song permeates like the, what do they call it? The, there's a word for it. The zeitgeist. It gets ingrained, and then subcultures will like hold on to it, you know, and it'll be part of their, you know, lore.
Yep.
And so if you can, I mean, that's I've obviously overthought this a lot, but essentially, if you can create a music that ingrains in one of those pockets of the zeitgeist, it will be one of those songs that gets remembered forever. And that's kind of what I'm hoping happens with my music, is that I find a pocket of people on this planet who just feel what I felt or feel something powerful, and then they carry that music and then they show it to their kids, and or they don't even show it. They just play it in the car and their kids are grown up listening to it. And then when they're of age and they're feeling nostalgic, they'll listen to that song and show their kids. And that's like the beauty of music, is because it can get, you know, stuff that there's obviously cycles to it, like whatever's popular, but stuff that's like good in, like, here's a very like a good example, but it's I would say it's kind of overplayed, but September by Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh yeah. It's
overplayed, but that song, no matter, it doesn't matter who you are, as soon as that comes on, dun, 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 like it immediately just brings the energy up.
Oh
like,
yeah.
It is and it will continue doing that for afterward. If people are still around, they're going to play that song, and that same feeling will be there.
Yep.
And it's like
universal, and it's like it doesn't have an age, you know. It goes on, it'll go on forever. Yeah, I remember that song used to play a lot. Like, I've done a lot of live production and stuff, and a lot of artists and bands and productions and musicals and whatever use that song in the pre-show.
Yeah.
Because it's like
It's a easy guaranteed.
it's a guarantee, and
Yeah.
it gets people smiling and grooving because it just connects with so many people. And so I hated that song for a
Yeah,
long
obviously.
time because I just heard it my whole career, forever, sometimes every day, like every single day I'd come into work, I would hear that song.
And when you're overplayed, and when it's overplayed like that, you
Yep.
know,
And what's funny about it is it was recently, it was about a year ago, I got really into going through all like 50s and the 60s, and not just listening to I would go to the popular songs of of whatever era it was and whatever genre, and then I would listen to that album because
Yeah.
I realized that I was missing some great songs, that weren't
Absolutely.
necessarily popular. And it was really it was just such a fun time because I was going through all these cool records, and that record came up, and I played it, and that song came up, and I was like, whoa, like this is it was like a reappreciation, like, wow, like this is such a good song, just the emotion that it just brings. I mean, it's almost like it's like a time capsule of its own. It just captured
absolutely.
such a beautiful, I don't know, feeling that gets just put into you whenever it comes on. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Even
it is
like
crazy.
children
Yeah.
that have no idea what's going on,
Yeah, and obviously there's so many different versions of that. And like maybe it's not euphoria, maybe it's sadness, or maybe it's a feeling of like excitement or rage. Like, there's all the whole range of emotion.
So I'm curious. I have a question. So, you're kind of going almost like you're like reanalyzing the ingredients, I guess, to like what makes a great song. So first you were focused on, you could call it technicality, but I kind of perceive that as like the sound of it.
Yes.
Like how does it, because technicality in electronic music relates to a better sound, if you will. Like that's like the ingredients to get something to sound really good. But now you're looking at it as like an overall picture of how you feel based on the sound. And so when you're having this realization of like what makes an amazing song a song, or like what makes a song timeless, like have you been able to kind of figure out anything to like implement that into your music, or like how do you see that implemented into your music, even in this beginning stage of kind of figuring it out? Does that make sense?
Yes. I would say, okay, so it's pretty obvious that pop songs like take the cake for the most popular, most well-known songs. And to make a pop song, obviously you typically want to stay away from, minor progressions. And that's, a pretty generally known thing in music. It's like you get the four chord progression of like most pop songs. If you're in C, you go C, G, A, F. But there's obviously so much good music that may never be heard by the masses just because of how marketing and all that works. So essentially, like if you make a song that resonates with a group of people, it doesn't have to be like on the top charts.
Totally.
It can just be a song that like carries on no matter how, like, I'm trying to think of a good example.
I can't think of the thing that comes to mind is I just forgot his oh my gosh, who's the drummer on, it's like the Tonight Show or whatever, Questlove.
Yeah.
You know Questlove?
Yes.
What's his band? Do you remember the band name?
I'm not sure.
I'll put it on here. I cannot think of the band name, but they released an album. It was a number of years ago. It was like 5 years ago or something like that. But this is coming up in my brain because of a quote that I think it was Questlove said about it. Is they had this, because it was like a big deal. They were coming out with an album, and he had this quote. I'm probably getting it wrong because it was so long ago, but he said that that they didn't make this album to be like popular or big or whatever. Like they made this album for the 50 years from now kid that gets into vinyl that finds their record.
Oh, that's really cool.
Why they made it. And it made me like, when I read that, it was just such a eye opener in terms of like creating music and creating songs and stuff, because it was almost like they picked a point, like, okay, we're
their
vision of who it's for, and like, you know, was just such a cool idea.
So to answer the first question, I guess, so I see what you're saying with that is like, where's the vision for my music?
Yeah.
Like, where am I approaching it from?
Yeah.
And I think, and I know this is always subject to change based off of how I feel.
Of course. This is just right in this moment.
I feel like I want, you know how Drake makes you feel?
Oh, yes.
Like when you listen? Drake
yes,
makes you feel like you're
yesterday.
winning. Drake,
yeah.
Drake makes you feel like you're winning.
Yep.
Drake makes you feel like you're the shit. Kanye kind of does that too, but Drake definitely does that.
Yeah.
I want to make music that makes people feel like that. Like that they can do, they can tackle their day and not just like get through it, but like actually like run it like best as possible.
Wow.
You know, like kind of like top G type stuff.
Power,
like that,
it gives you power.
Powerful. Yeah. And
wow.
Like, so basically like fuel, energy, like you just drink an energy drink and then you like listen to it. Like that's kind of like the music I'm trying to make.
That's so cool.
I'm not really, and realistically, that's the music I'm most drawn to right now, is because that's how I like, lately that's how I've been feeling, is like, I need to be, you know, nobody else is going to live my day for me. So if I'm going to live this day, I might as well do it as best as possible and like, you know, own it.
Yeah.
And music that makes me feel like that, like feels like a winner. That's kind of like the music that I'm drawn to and been trying to make.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
and
so cool.
It's sometimes it's hard because
of course.
while you're making the music, you feel like a loser when you can't figure it out, and you're like, God, I suck. Yeah. But you can't, like, once, so that when you hit that flow state, that's when you feel like you figured it out.
Yeah.
And I think that's the production mindset that I've been craving for a very long time. Like a lot of the stuff I've been that I worked on like a couple years ago. And it's also been brought up to my attention by people who've been following the music. They're like, you used to make like very like experimental, like melodic stuff. And they're like, you know, to them, they say it feels nostalgic. And I realized like, that's how I felt when I was making that music. I was like in an era of like nostalgia and just like, honestly, a euphoric, like experimentally, like, playful mindset.
I remember you told me when we kind of first met, you were talking about your music. You said that you were making music. I can't remember exactly how you said it, but you were like you're making music like you're floating on a rock through outer space.
Yes,
that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
you said something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. Since then, I've, you know, like I said, this is always subject to change because it's really based on how I feel. But like lately, I've definitely been feeling that like go-getter mindset, and also the amped like energy that comes with, you know, ranging between 128 BPM and 130 BPM, where you're just like, let's go.
Yeah.
Every day.
I love that, man. That's, you know, what's so funny kind of about that is, so I used to have like this thing against pretty much all rap music. Like when it was when I got really into production and like mixing and whatever. I just kind of, I don't know what it started off just, I don't know why. I just thought that rap mostly, especially popular rap and stuff, was like very like egotistical. It's
right.
Like, who cares that you know, as like the rapper is saying all this stuff he's doing and he's the baller, he's the boss, whatever it was. And I saw him as just a single person like shouting all that stuff, you know?
Right.
And
flexing.
Then, that's a much better word for it. And, but I'd always been drawn to Mac Miller. Mac Miller is like still one of my favorite artists. I don't know why. There's just something that speaks to me when he does his lyrics and his timing. That's my favorite part about him. He's the best at in musical. And out of. Yeah, he's so musical. And after he died, rest in peace, Mac Miller. But when he died, I went through this, cause I got really, it like really affected me, because I was just so sad, because he had just released one of my favorite records of all time, and Swimming, and in this older, it was almost like, I think it was like a YouTube video or something where he was in the studio and he was just talking, and he was talking about like why he makes rap that is like flexing basically. And he said that what he is making those songs for is for the person driving to work, like rapping his lyrics. And he's making it as they're saying that to themselves.
Yeah.
And he's like, if I can make people like be
Feel
confident
that,
and have the power and have the energy and feel like they can conquer the world. He's like, that's why he was making it. And it changed my entire perspective in that one moment. I was like, oh, like I get it now. You know, it was so funny because it's kind of obvious, but I didn't really think about it at the time because before him, I wasn't rapping any rap lyrics because I just wasn't into it. And then he came out and I was like, oh, I get it. I get it now.
I didn't actually know that he did that. That was very, that's the best way to put it, is like the dude in the car going to work, like listening to it. Like, yeah, that's,
and nailing the line or whatever. Yeah.
Feeling it.
I mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool place to be.
That's where I'm at, and I like I said, if it takes a turn into, wherever it goes, I'm here for it, because it really is. You want to hang on to something sometimes, and sometimes hanging on to it for too long just makes you sad or prevents you from progressing.
What do you mean hanging on to something
like
too long?
an idea of who you are?
Oh,
and like an identity piece of you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, well, I'm not that anymore. Who am I now? We're always, evolving, growing, or dying. Like there's not anything that's stagnant.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah, man. I love that. It might be, I can't remember where this comes from, but they talk about how like, when you walk up to a river and you're like stepping in the river, like every single millisecond, that river is not the same. Like it's a totally different thing. And that's how we are. Like that's how we are day to day, and even like sometimes like hour to hour, minute to minute. And yeah, when I heard that, it kind of like I'm in a place now where, man, every single day I have no idea. I don't care anymore. I like kind of have dropped the who am I in a way.
Right.
I've like turned to more so like, I don't know, like kind of what we were talking about just a second ago, like action. Like what am I doing to fulfill, my life? Because I had last year, I don't know if we talked about this, but last year my brother died. Did I tell you about that? I don't think I told you about that. Yeah, you would have remembered. Yeah. So my brother died, which was crazy random. He was much younger. He's like 6 years younger than me, I think. And when he died, because I've had like a couple family members and stuff, and obviously it's terrible and hard and to go through and all that stuff.
Of course.
But when somebody like younger than you, goes, that's that you never, oh my gosh.
You weren't expecting.
Oh my God. It's just crazy. It's crazy. But the gift that came through that, and it's such an obvious thing. It's such like an obvious thing of like, you never know. Like you never know if tomorrow is, going to be your last day on the earth, or today, or next week, or whatever. And since that happened, it's made it like extreme to where I like every single day I'm like, well, this could be the last one, and it like it's a fun, almost like, I don't know, thought to have, which sounds kind of morbid and sad.
No, I think like memento mori, remember death, like the Latin term.
What was that? Mori?
Memento mori.
Oh, I don't think I've heard that.
Mori.
Mori.
I might be I'm probably messing that up. But that remembering death is a reminder to live.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I just told that to my mom. I didn't know the Italian. I didn't know that relation. I'm gonna have to look that up after this. That's really cool.
What I wanted to say on that was obviously my condolences.
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah, I can only imagine the heartbreak. The thing is, we spend all of our time kind of like looking at patterns and okay, so my parents are older than me. They're probably going to die first, probably. And so as an adult, you kind of come to terms like, okay, well, at a certain point, I will have to say goodbye to my parents if everything goes the way it's supposed to or expected to.
Yeah.
And then the thing that obviously most people don't plan for is like a loved one who's like, similar age, or a friend, or a younger sibling to pass. In those moments, like you ask yourself like why, or I have asked myself why when I've had family members pass who out of the blue,
Yeah.
and I'm not religious, but I do believe in God. And I think that there is something to be said about, everybody is on this earth for a reason. We all have a purpose. And the ultimate, truth is we'll find out after we're gone, or maybe we don't, nobody really knows how it works at the end. But we hope that those family members and the people who have passed have lived their full purpose.
Yeah.
And that I hope that when I pass, whether it is, an old age or tomorrow or whenever it may be, that I didn't leave anything on the table. Like I tried my best to be me as much as I could have been,
Totally.
in every way. And if that means, having had a bad day, well, that day was meant to be had so that when the good day comes, I can appreciate it more. And I think that, it is something that is always good to remember. You're not here. We're not here for, it's one thing that connects us all. It's the one thing that's guaranteed. Like, I can't tell you, how many times I've been wrong about what I expected out of my life and what it turned into.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Our expectations and our dreams are, they're real. They have a purpose, but in the end, the results of life does what it wants. And we're just on a rock flying through space, going through it,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you can remember that, your time here is limited, then maybe you can, it's very cliche, and I'm trying to navigate it like without
Totally
sounding
is.
like everyone else. But
Yeah.
I've definitely had a lot of time to contemplate it. And I think that I'm at a point where it's all about being. It's all about being. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Just be.
Being. Yep. Like present.
Just be. Just do. Just be. Just accept and go with it, because it's going, whether we want it to or not.
Totally.
And that I'm trying to dismount into
You're good. Well,
something lighthearted. But
I don't know if this helps, but one place that I've gotten to with all of that is, for a long time, I was kind of focused on just that end point, and regardless of, I'm similar, I'm not religious, do believe in God, very similar, but the dying part, and we always think about when we die, when that happens, we hope to have done all this stuff and we've, whatever. But I always looking back at these few people that have died that I've been really close to in my life. I can't help, when all that stuff happened and you go through all the emotions and you kind of come out of it. For me anyway, I'm a person that naturally looks at positive stuff.
Yeah.
It's been easy. I don't want to say easy, but through my life, it's just been something that I've been able to see pretty clearly, I guess easily. And I can't help but see the crazy positive things that came through those deaths that would not have, there's just no way they would have happened without it, which kind of sounds sad to say, but I actually think it's a beautiful thing that, that somebody's purpose, going through life, can have such effect on so many people, but also it doesn't just end with that. Their death can have such a positive effect on so many people in so many ways. It's almost like, in some ways, almost more of a positive effect. And it kind of reminds me of, I heard this thing once where, if a tree falls
Right.
and it falls on the ground, the first year that tree lays on the ground, it benefits 10,000 species in just the first year.
Wow.
It gives food to 10,000 species of everything, of bugs and whatever, which is kind of crazy to think about. And so it's like, it's so important. If those trees don't fall and like give back, in that way, we wouldn't have what we have. And
that's a very, wise way to look at it, I think. That, there could be something beneficial, or I wouldn't say beneficial, but out of suffering and sorrow, that there could be hope or something good that, is an effect of that cause.
Well, I think that's one way how you actually do live on.
Yeah.
Because I've just seen it go into other people's lives, not even just my own, and it's crazy because that connection of what happened and what how it changed people, and how it made people think differently, and it made, we as humans are completely different because we experience this our whole lives. Like, you can't say that you've not changed because of that happening. Right. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
So it's like part of our evolution as who we are as humans to experience that and come out of it, and to take those lessons and give them to other people, and to nurture our own lives and appreciate, it like comes with it in a way. But
I'm gonna say, like, we're getting really deep, and I love it.
I know.
How about this? Let's take a bathroom break and check on everything and come back to it.
Okay.
How long were you in college?
2 years.
And what did you study?
Recording arts.
So, you went to Full Sail.
I went to Full Sail.
Yeah.
Yep, I went to Full Sail.
How was that? Because I definitely wanted to try it. And I was on the phone with their, I was like in the process.
Like that whole process?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
So you almost did it then.
While I was in my barracks room, because they accepted the GI Bill. And I would have gone to Florida to do it.
Dude, that makes sense, because we had a lot of
veterans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when I first started, it was like 25% of the class was veterans. And
I really was considering doing it. And then I'm pretty sure it was because it was in Florida that I was like, I'm not going to do it. And I just, I went and got my Class A CDL. Nice. And I went to the community college out there in California, Copperhead, or Copper Mountain College is what it's called. Fun times. I took a class on death and dying, which is so random, but
makes sense in
this conversation. That's what that harp is from.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I took that class, and because I had told the professor that I actually play the harp. I don't know how it came up, and she's like, "Well, you got to play it in class." Because I think they were talking about therapy music, and like music therapy, and how like harps are part of it. And I don't know how it was brought up, but I was like, "Yeah, I play it," and so I literally played that little thing for.
Did you find it to bring in or something?
I think I just bought it off eBay.
Oh, okay.
Literally.
Like she said, bring in the harp, and then you...
Well, she's like, could you bring one in? I was like, well, the harp that I play, it's at my parents' house. It's like one of the big size ones. And then this was like, I was like, I'll see if I can find a little mini one. And the thing with that thing is it's just too thin. It doesn't act, it sounds cheap.
Oh,
but
of course,
it looks so nice.
It looks so cool.
Yeah. So.
It's really cool.
That's
so sick. It's like a harp tar.
Yeah.
With just the way this hole is here, it reminds me of like a little ukulele.
Yeah, it's definitely not tuned, or else I would like strum it a little bit. Yeah.
It didn't sound terrible.
It's not bad. I mean, you're in the range.
Yeah. That's crazy. I don't think I knew that you played the harp.
Yeah, well, it's like the piano. It's like the piano with guitar, and you just have to, if you can strum on guitar, if you can arpeggiate on a guitar, you can definitely arpeggiate on a harp.
Nice.
Now, I'm only saying that as an untrained unprofessional harp player. There might be a technique, but from what I've noticed, it's literally just being able to play chords and arpeggiations within technically you can only play in one, or I guess maybe two keys, because it's a set, it's like tuned in like C major.
Yeah.
So like that harp is definitely tuned in C major. The red, I guess they're called line strings. They're that's C, and then the blue is F.
Oh.
So that's how you use as a reference point, because when you're looking at it, like when it's in front of you, you can't see all the strings.
Right.
So you have to have the proximity, kind of like on a guitar.
Yep.
And just know that the distance between the strings, and then that's how you play it.
Dang.
And so
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's just creating arpeggiated chord
so
patterns
cool.
that makes it sound like you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you understand chords, you can just you'll be
Harp,
fine.
man, I learned that doing orchestra work. It's like one of the most important instruments in the orchestra, which is kind of crazy to think. I never really thought about it that way.
Well, there's only one in an orchestra.
There's only one in an orchestra, and it's not that like maybe saying it's the most important instrument's like a little far, but when they play and when there's moments, they're so important.
Yes.
And it's kind of stressful on the harpist, because if they mess up
It's like a
their
solo.
run or like, a big chord that they're filling in all the spots, if they mess it up or if they overplay, it can be a huge problem with like the whole sound. And that blew my mind when I started working with orchestra, because I always thought of it as just like it's almost as important as like that timpani. The timpani in an orchestra is very important. If you have a terrible timpani player in an orchestra, it's like having a terrible drummer in a band,
Well, with
so
the timpani
important.
they're controlling the pitch too, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
yeah.
So if they're out of tune,
Yep.
it's you can tell.
Yep.
But
And they got to be good.
To be honest, most people aren't even aware of it in the sense of as a casual audience member.
Totally.
But when you're trained in music, the difference between a mediocre orchestra and like a great one is night and day.
Dude,
Like
it's unreal.
The power of a professional orchestra, and I've only witnessed them on video. Mm-hmm. And I know a little bit about the tips and tricks that make a recording of an orchestra from from a B+ to an A+.
Yeah,
I know what that takes, which is absolutely insane. The amount of work.
It's wild.
Some of these orchestras where you're listening to it not on a production, but like they're in sessions and they're playing. Mm-hmm. It's the precision. It's the
oh my gosh,
and
the connection with each other.
Oh, they have to be in tune to everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy about like the pros, like the way that they play together. It's just one giant instrument. It's just makes you cry.
2 weekends ago,
when you hear it.
2 weekends ago, I was at a wedding at Greenhouse Two Rivers, a venue up here.
I've been there.
Yeah, Morgan and I actually got married there.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. One of my good friends got married there too.
In 2021.
2021
wedding reception.
Whoa.
Yeah, we've been married since 2017, but that's when we had our wedding reception.
Oh right, yeah.
But I bring it up
because you were.
Yeah.
I remembered. Yeah, I remember.
I was
Anyway,
military.
Yeah,
but I do remember, or I bring that up because they had a 4-piece string ensemble.
Oh my
They
gosh!
had
At your wedding?
Not
a reception.
At this wedding I did 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And they were so good. When I mean like it was as if it was a recording. Wow. That's how good they were. And they must have rehearsed every piece like to perfection, and it was only 4 of them, but it was beyond beautiful.
Dude, you know what's crazy is it's actually that's how you know they're truly great players, because it is much harder to sound good with a 4-piece than it is with an orchestra.
I believe it.
You're on your own.
You're on your own, and every piece is its own piece. You're not.
And if
up.
somebody, we had them a lot on cruise ships when I worked on the line that I had always had orchestra players, and it was always like 4-piece, or sometimes they do 5 or 8, or just kind of depended on the group, but mostly 4. And they would talk about how like when you're like so in tune with each other, one of those people will kind of have like an off day, and they'll first just not be in it. They might be like a little sharp, a little flat or whatever. And the other three will just like, they just know, like they will flow right into it to where you can't even tell that one person's off because they'll just slightly change.
Picking up the slack.
Yes.
Wow.
And they'll go to their notes, you know, they'll be in tune with them even though they're like off a little bit. It's really crazy.
Holy cow.
That's
because
like,
to the ear, you're only hearing context, so you can't even tell.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's wild.
That's
insane. Like the true great
That's
great
like the
players.
bowling guy going in and like is being able to test things. It's like that level of expertise is, you know,
it's unreal.
It's so remarkable too, because the nuances that you never consider.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And the people like even the conductors and stuff, that their ears, man, like the truly great ones, they know if it's like the violin guy in the back that's off, you know? They'll be like, dude, you're off, you're flat in the third measure, what are you doing? It's crazy, that type of ear. It blows my mind.
I did go down a rabbit hole about a composer, and I'm blanking on his name, but he was this, you know, very famous composer. But I like saw a short of him, and then I like it was like this special moment where he had like a dedication or something. I'm not quite sure exactly the specifics of what the event was. It was just, I was like, who's this guy? Because he was one of those conductors that's so animated. Like every little piece of his like performance looks theatrical, you know? It's like, it's not just like a dude who's like up there hitting he's like literally hitting like vibrations in his arm that are, you know, you're hearing the vibrato in the strings as his arm's shaking, and his hair is like a mess. He looks like, you know, really long gray hair.
Yep.
So I go down.
I know what you're talking about.
I go down into the rabbit hole of like watching, you know, behind the scenes of this guy, and you're watching rehearsals where exactly what you described is him, and what you hear is a great violinist, and then he gives his input. And it's almost like disrespectful, his input. It's almost like you're fucking it up. This is how it should sound. And then he's like, I need you to do this and then this. And then I need it. And he like had him do a do-over multiple times. And the result was tangible. Like as, you know, somebody who's like listening, I'm like, well, it can't be that serious. And yet there it was. It was like, holy cow. And then you realize he's doing that for every single little piece of the arrangement. To them, I would imagine an arrangement is, and the way it's performed is as important as it is for like the emotion I have trying to capture it in a song.
Yes.
Like to be a composer, it's not producing, but it is a version of selecting the exact specific part played the exact specific way. And it's like that fine edge with that style of music that, you know, we were describing when when it comes to editing. Because a composer can hear the violin and feel what it's doing, and then what it's supposed to do, or what it could do. It sees its potential and then pulls it out of the performer.
Yep. And even to go a step further on that, what's really crazy about those guys is they're also heavily involved in the mix process too, in recordings, because they're up there in the recordings doing exactly what you're talking about, trying to bring the best out of this song and all these little nuances and all these little things. And then it's really interesting because when they come in for the mix session of this whole thing, they already know, like the exact moment in every single measure that wasn't up to par with what they were wanting out of the orchestra performer or whatever. So they'll be like, all right, we really got to look at bar 16. We wanted this certain emotion. It just wasn't happening. So we got to figure out where we can find it in the music. Like they'll like pick apart everything. And oh my gosh, the oboes are giving it. Okay, the oboes are taking the lead here and not the violins or whatever, because I can feel their energy.
They'll kind of coach the mix and be like, make sure you're paying attention to, you know, bring these out a little, put these guys back. Wow.
For impact and for whatever it is. And so typically how it works is they wait till like the mix is done to where everything sounds awesome. And then now it's the same thing as what they do with their orchestra. So like, okay, let's make them crescendo a little bit more because they didn't really do it enough. Or let's bring the flutes were crazy on measure 34. We need to hone those guys in. And it's crazy because it's all just in their brain. Like I worked with two different guys and they just have this sense of what happened, you know, whenever they were up there and what needs to happen. It's pretty cool.
Can we just give context of what it takes to go from a raw recording to that like free? Because I feel like people don't know, and they should know.
Maybe they should. I don't know if I should talk about this.
I'll just say that I was not aware that this was part of it, but just like the way vocals get tuned, kind of like auto-tune, but not all auto-tune. There's different programs. One of them that's really popular is called Melodyne. It's literally taking any flaw and imperfection and correcting it, just like you would imagine a singer's flaws and imperfections being corrected.
Yeah.
And so sometimes the live recording is not actually what you're hearing. You're hearing the edited, enhanced version of the live recording. I would say a lot of times.
Yeah. So I guess I can speak to it a little bit. So basically, an easy way to put it is there is times where there is tuning on orchestra. Like, obviously you do not want to do that. It's like last resort, right? It's like you really want to keep it as natural as possible, because there's just such natural instruments. And it's just there's so much emotion in them. But of course there is times when you have to do it, and it's really complicated because there's a lot of microphones on the orchestra, and it's polyphonic. So there's more than just one note, like a vocal is singing one note at a time, you know, and that's easy to tune. And there's no band around usually, there's by themselves. There's no bleed into the mic. With an orchestra, there's 60, 70 mics, 50, 40, it kind of just depends on how big the orchestra is. And so typically if you have a problem area and there's nothing you can do to fix it, like they can't play it better or whatever the case may be, you have to tune not only the mics over the violin, but you might have to tune the reeds mics, the violin twos mics, the bleed. You got to like tune the bleed, and then the room mics and the area mics it gets very complicated. It's really hard.
Yeah, my explanation was very simple. The way Josh just described it also shows you how little. Like even somebody who understands a little bit about audio can comprehend the complexity of tuning or producing or whatever, mixing an orchestra. It is a laborious endeavor.
It can be crazy.
Yeah.
It can be crazy.
Ideally, you have, musicians, which we've both seen, who come in there and hit everything right off the bat.
Nail it.
And it's great.
Yeah.
The hard part about an orchestra is, unless it's like the Philharmonic or one of these like super famous orchestrals that they're just, that's all they do, that's their profession. You're still gonna have to give them a little assistance.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
But live recordings are
it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
And
it's a rabbit hole in itself.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole. It's an awesome thing to behold if you ever get the opportunity to watch something come from, a collaboration of so many people.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's the coolest part.
Yeah.
There's so many people involved. And it's so like when you get to the end of it too, and it turns out awesome.
The result. Like, ultimately, that's what matters most.
Yeah.
We were discussing the technique,
right?
But what the audience cares about, they don't care about how, they just want to hear it sound good.
Totally.
And if they, when you're watching film or whatever, like that's the emotional backdrop to whatever that orchestral piece is being used for, or if it's a standalone piece.
Yeah.
And that's why when a performance happens and it's done at that level, it's so impressive.
Oh my gosh.
To be hit so flawlessly, collectively as a unit.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. It'll give you goosebumps head to toe.
Dude, it will. You just can't replace that with any,
like outside, obviously, orchestra is very like elegant and delicate and beautiful. Another live performance, like group thing that is really on that same scale of like chills is when you hear those like college marching bands.
Oh yeah,
when they come together, I swear that it doesn't matter who you are, that will raise the hair on the back of your neck.
Yeah, because that's like power. Full power.
Yeah.
Dude, that used to be my whole life. I was big marching band. And a step further from even the college ones is the like what do they call it? I just forgot. It's corps, marching corps. What is it called? Man, I can't think of what it's called. But anyway, there's all these groups.
Yeah.
Phantom Regiment is like one of the big ones that I wanted to be a part of. But it's really wild because it's basically professional marching band, but the tryouts to get in it are like the most insane tryouts of all time. You have to be like the best of the best of the best, and you still might not make it in it. It's kind of crazy. You have to dedicate your entire life just to maybe get in this thing. And then if you get accepted into it after you do your tryouts and stuff, you have to pay like a lot of money.
Yeah.
So it's like thousands of dollars. So you don't even just get in it. You're like, okay, you made it. Now give us,
No, you've
fund
just
us.
been given permission to play.
Yeah.
But
then you go on tour basically and rehearse, and it's just countless hours and whatever. But man, seeing one of those lines, because every player is like the top of the food chain, the top of their game in every marching and time. I mean, it's like
the movement adds so much to it. Like, obviously
and
the
the
sound,
energy.
Yeah,
like,
the sound is like a wall of just awesome.
Yeah.
But the movement, the dynamics like that,
Yeah.
that's what separates.
Yeah.
To
Absolutely.
be able to maintain that embouchure and that lung capacity while you're literally shuffling sideways and backwards and upward, like that's crazy.
Absolutely. And like just another nuanced thing, kind of like fishing, what a lot of people don't understand about that world is that football field is big.
Yes.
So whoever's in the back marching takes a lot longer time for the sound of their horn to arrive at the front. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like if the drums are at the back, they can't play, the people in the front can't play exactly in time with the conductor. Because if they do, they're going to be ahead of the drums.
That's insane.
So an orchestra is all basically in one time.
Right.
They're close together.
They're within
But on a field, when you got the horns in the back and the drums in the front, like everybody has to adjust their timing, their latency, so that they arrive at the audience at the same time. Especially
I did
the
not
pit.
know that. That is insane.
Isn't that crazy?
I did not know that. So is that why they have the drum majors or whatever they're called
On the side?
On the sides?
No, that's mostly for more visuals.
Okay,
Because if you just because there's so many
So
people.
then what's the time that they're following? Because I did a high school marching band, and
So,
obviously it's not the same.
different bands are totally different on who is setting the time and you know what I mean. But the ones that I was in the past, like the typical structure was that the main drum major, so the main guy in the front, in the center, on the highest thing. If you watch, it's kind of interesting because if you watch those guys, they're always watching the lead snare on the drum line, and that's like their focus to make sure that
That's their anchor.
That's their anchor point. And a lot of times they're watching their feet because the feet is the metronome. Like,
Gotcha.
That's like as simple as that. Like your feet is your metronome. And so if you watch them, they'll follow that lead snare drum all over the field. So that's kind of their reference point of like where the time needs to be. So the drums typically and the conductor typically, they're in time together. They're synced up together. And then everyone else kind of has to shift and change based on that overall sound.
So are they making the adjustments and knowing, like every individual knows this phenomenon, and so
the
they're
super good ones, yeah.
So they're having to create this adjustment?
Yeah, totally. And you can really tell, like how we used to tell anyway, is by watching back like rehearsals and stuff. So we'd watch, they'd film, we'd do a run through of our show, and then we'd watch, and then we'd take notes on it. So we'd be like, oh, well, tubas are in the back and they're way behind. Like they need to, and that'll be a note. Like tubas, during this measure, when you guys are marching across the back, you need to anticipate the beat. Like don't be right on the beat, anticipate it.
Yeah.
And then they'll do it, they'll do it again. So they're mostly adjusting based on muscle memory from rehearsal, based on like video and what the like band leader is saying.
But ultimately the band leader has to understand where the latency is happening.
Yeah.
So they can coach them through it.
Oh yeah, totally. And you can hear it because it's pretty obvious when you're out in the stands. Like, and you can tell with a marching band that isn't very good when they do the big blasts, you can tell when it's not tight, you know? Like when you hear a really good marching band and you hear those, like those big
horns,
hits, especially if they're short hits and they're so tight and
those breast
perfect.
stabs that just hit your skull.
Oh gosh, yeah. And you can tell if it's like a really loose band, even, you know, they're not all in it. They're not all one coming across that field.
Yeah, so I'm sure you've done a mass band a time or two.
A what?
A mass band gathering where you have multiple marching bands from.
Oh yeah. We used to do competitions and
stuff. The
stuff.
entire football field is like playing the same arrangement.
Oh yeah, those suck. Those always suck. They're terrible. Yeah. We used to do those like right before awards and stuff, and they're not fun. Well, because everyone's all over the place.
Everyone's all over the place. Yeah, and
it's terrible.
It's done in good spirit, but it's definitely not.
Yeah, it's cool. But I just remember being like, no one knows what's going on.
You could hear different parts playing faster than others. You're like, well, they talked.
That's what's hard too, is you have to ignore the slapback.
Yeah.
Like that's another thing, because you're getting a slap back from the audience's bleachers and the humans that are there. And that's tough in certain stadiums. Like we played at it's gone now, but when they were the St. Louis Rams, we used to play in their dome that they had. And that was the most difficult place to play, because you had to just focus on the sound that was right next to you, because there was so much echoing with the drums and what was happening, and you had to like do everything you possibly could to just keep that out, which is like impossible.
The closest experience I have to that is my most recent August performance at the Phantom Festival.
Yes, I'm so glad that this went into that, because this is...
Dude... So
go on.
I'll tell like the whole experience, but
yeah. Well, I want to start at the beginning too, but
while I was there performing, the main stage and the side stage were like at a 90-degree L. So they were facing.
Oh, so you were.
I was on the main stage facing this way.
Yep.
And then to my left was the side stage facing that way.
Oh,
and
I see.
If you were on the outside, you only heard one stage. So if you were standing over here, you wouldn't hear this stage. You'd only hear the stage in front of you.
Gotcha.
There's like some, audio canceling out.
Yeah.
But while you're on stage, I hadn't turned up my monitors for myself. So I was getting overwhelmed with the low end of the side stage because they're playing at the same time. And I'm telling you, that was navigating that was a challenge, an extreme challenge. But I figured it out and I was able to nail it. Now, all of that would have probably been prevented literally by me cranking my monitors. Yeah. But I didn't think about it in the moment, but partly I never want to crank my monitors because then I don't actually know. So I was able to hear like what I was putting out there.
Yeah.
And I was able to make, the adjustment, but it was tough.
That's crazy.
Something you never like, you're dreaming about this day. You're like, I'm going to be opening on main stage at this festival.
Yeah.
And then you get there and then these are things that you don't consider. You don't consider that when you get there, they still have to have the fire marshal inspect for pyro. And so you're like, well, where do I hang out?
Yeah.
There's all these little details, but
that's so funny.
Yeah, the Phantom Festival was both everything I wanted and more, and also it was bittersweet because I got a taste. I got a tiny taste of what it could be.
Yep.
And I don't know. I don't know how to find my way back there right now in my career.
Yeah.
Because just to get going with the whole Phantom Festival experience.
Wait, can I pause you?
Yeah.
Because you know we can come back to that easily, right?
Right.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
I kind of want to tell like this whole story from how it began, if you're cool with that.
Yeah.
Like last time I think it was last time we talked. Yeah, it was last I was over here. Last time we talked, you hadn't done it yet, and you had like kind of just gotten the opportunity. And one of the things I wanted to talk about was like how that opportunity came up, because I think it's such a cool story in terms of just networking and not even knowing really what you're networking for, you know what I mean?
Okay, so I'll start there.
And it kind of like the puzzle pieces kind of fit together where it became this opportunity, but you also learned a lot of stuff from that person. So anyway, I want to kind of hear that part and then what that festival was to you.
Okay. Yes. So, this, for context, I'm an independent artist who is doing everything on my own. I don't have a manager. I don't have a team helping me book gigs or submit music to record labels, any of that. And so, in this kind of isolated world of being an independent artist, trying to find your people, I'm constantly facing rejection. I'm constantly reaching out to people who either ghost me or they're not interested. And because of that, you got to kind of build up a tenacity to keep going. And I've, just accepted it as part of the nature of the game. If I'm going to be out in Missouri, making music and pursuing this the way I am, I have to just acknowledge that this is going to be part of it. And through this, I just built up this habit of anytime I see anyone in the area doing something cool, doing something aligned with what I'm pursuing, I reach out to them. I hit them up. I swipe up on their story. I show them support. I show them encouragement. I follow them, and I try to build a little bit of a rapport. And then I never cold, or I tried to not cold present
cold
myself.
outreach or whatever.
Cold sell
Cold
myself.
call. Yeah.
I tried to at least have shown engagement for a couple weeks.
Built a relationship.
Built some credit with them. Have them at least reply with a thanks or a heart on my comment before I ever say anything.
Yeah.
And so there's this wonderful community of artists in Kansas City that I've been witnessing from the outside, and there's quite a few different genre cliques, but mainly dubstep is the big bass music is kind of the main pull for Kansas City in that market right now. And I don't make heavy stuff. I just I'm a big fan of it. I've always loved dubstep and heavy stuff like Skrillex and Flux Pavilion, all those artists from back when dubstep first came across my Pandora back in 2010 2011. And so so there's this subculture, I guess, of house people, and so that's what I make. I mainly make tech house and electro house, kind of bass house, but still not heavy. So at that time, most of my stuff wasn't even most of my music, when I say stuff, I mean music. Most of my music was very, I said, experimental, nostalgic, not necessarily, it wasn't built with the intention of serving an audience, you were saying, the Questlove looking 50 years in ahead. I had just made it just to make it. It was creativity to its fullest. And so it was very, experimental, not very commercial. And I reached out to this girl who I've noticed being really active in the scene, having played Breakaway, which is a big EDM festival up there. And then she opened for Steve Aoki. She did a lot of stuff in Kansas City. Yeah. So she's
That's crazy.
She's
legit.
She's legit. You're paying attention to people who are they're not nationally famous, but they're locally, they're doing great stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And I messaged her and I was like, look, I love seeing your commitment to the music and stuff. She's not an artist. She's just a DJ and a promoter.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
She's not an artist. She doesn't make her own music.
Whoa.
At least none that I could find. It was all, she just posts mixes on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And I told her I am an artist and I'm here, in Springfield, a couple hours away. And anytime you need an opener, anytime you need anything, just let me know and I'm willing to come up there or anywhere and make it happen, I would love the opportunity, you know, and hear some of my music, hear some of the sound that I've, you know, my signature sound.
Yeah.
I sent it to her. She responded with, you know, like, that's so sweet. I'm, you know, excited to see what we can do, but your music isn't very, it doesn't translate well in a club. And I took it as like, well, she knows because she's in the clubs up there and she knows what like club music is. She knows what like resonates. And I told her, I was like, all right, well, you know, what do you think it'd be good for? And she's like, well, it might be good for festivals, but it's not necessarily like the stuff she's doing. She was doing, you know, a lot of club gigs. And I was like, all right, but I took that like, you know, with a grain of salt, and I was like, kind of like, obviously, anytime you get rejected, we get used to it, but it sucks.
It does,
but
it still kind of sucks, especially when you're excited.
You know? I was excited, and especially because she had been responding to my interactions. So at that point, like I can't remember if what I did do. What I know for sure is that I didn't let that like hinder my you know, support. You know,
like for her,
yeah,
like
for her,
your support to her.
I didn't allow that to be like, well, she's not going to be of any use to me, so I'm gonna just write her off.
Yeah,
and I try to do that with genuine people in all these communities because realistically, we're huge, all the same. Like, and there's other communities that I've had the privilege to be a part of, and I still try to do that. With this case, you know, it'd be every now and then I would just like swipe up and be like, that's so cool. She met John Summit, took a picture with John Summit, who's a really big artist in the house space, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then essentially fast forward a year or whatever, and my music and my sound kept evolving, and I was posting it and being active about it. Well, there was this I got to the point where I started DJing like live, you know, for myself. That's another thing that's interesting is I didn't DJ up until February of this year, like in front of an audience. Yeah. I've only produced music, right? So I start DJing.
Which is kind of funny because I feel like most people would just assume
it's the other way around.
It's the other way around.
You start DJing.
Like normal people.
Yeah, you start DJing and then you like, well, how can I make my own music?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I definitely did it backwards. And I got an opportunity to DJ at a venue here in Springfield. And I was there every night. And I swiped up, or actually I messaged her to let her know, like, hey, just so you know, I got this gig and I'm like the resident DJ here. And so I think that, you know, keeping her updated kind of like
that's really cool.
Journey.
It's like nurturing basically.
Yeah. I'm like here. So it was like celebrating. And she was obviously very congratulatory in that regard. Well, fast forward to like the summertime, there's this event that's happening in Kansas City that I don't know anything about. I just see that she's posting about it. And I, you know, ask her about it and, you know, ask if this would be something I could do. And she's like, we'll see. In the meantime, you know, fill out this application and we'll go from there. And it turns out 270 people applied to be part of this festival.
Whoa.
And they only picked, I think they only picked like 30 people.
Dang.
30 people to do.
270.
Yes.
Dang.
Now, that's regional, you know, all around.
Right.
And granted, at this time, I didn't know who was going to be on the festival lineup. I thought it was just like local artists. Mm-hmm. And I was just, you know, I was just following the natural course. And if it happened, it'd be great. Right. Lo and behold, I get an email while I'm in Italy that they accepted. Actually, yeah, it was like, it was
crazy.
It was right before summer. But anyways, timeline's a little rough.
Yeah,
but
it's all good. What a place to find out, though.
Yeah, and I missed the deadline. So what happened was they're like, if you can do it, confirm and send your details by end of day so and so. And because we were in Italy, we were traveling, I wasn't like checking my emails. I had missed it, and so I text her. I'm like, "Hey, I'm so sorry, but I just saw this email. Is there any way that this is still like legit?" And she's like, "Oh, you're good. Don't worry about it." She's like, "Go ahead and text me all the information." And literally, I like literally missed the window so close, and still don't know who the lineup is. Don't know who any of the artists are. And I'm like, in my mind, it's a much smaller festival than what it turns out being. And then fast forward to the process of like prepping. They're asking a lot from everyone who's in that. They created a group chat and had everyone like submitting information, details, photos, like all this stuff for the promotional content. Oh, it's a very professional like strategy, and then
that's cool.
Content release, marketing plans.
It had been cool to kind of just get a little insight on how that works.
Yeah, I'm coming in literally brand new to DJing. Also, I've never been to a festival. I've only watched festivals online. Like I've never actually
I've never
gone to a festival. Whoa! Because I understood the concept, but I was always like. None of my friends were going, although in the military, a lot of my friends would go to like EDC and like the big festivals, and I would stay in my barracks room and produce.
Nice.
I mean, that's what I would do. I was just broke, and I'd spend literally my money on plugins. Instead, and
that's pretty cool, actually.
Because festivals are expensive.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah, they're hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's like I understand it. I understood what the draw was, but I can never bring myself to justify spending that amount of money. When I could watch it online, and none of my like close friends were like, we're all going. If that was the case, I probably would have gone.
Totally, yeah.
But I know the music that I love is that's where it's played.
Yeah, it's
played there, and then in some clubs and stuff around the world. But it's definitely not Missouri music at all.
No,
so
it's not.
I was very excited about it, and I tried to make the most of it. And the way I ended up on the main stage, or let me just cover the lineup. When the lineup dropped, it dropped in the chat first. I literally was over the moon. I couldn't believe it. I was like hooting and hollering throughout the house. Like Morgan will tell you how excited I was, because I was like, holy shit. I could not believe my eyes. It was Joyride, who's somebody who I've been listening to for almost 7-8 years, an artist from the UK. And so for him to be there, which was totally random.
Yeah.
And then the headliner was Seven Lions, which is somebody I've been listening to since high school. Since literally I found out what electronic music was.
Dang. So you went from literally thinking it was like a local little show to legit. Like this is actually legit. Yeah.
With, there's a bunch of artists on there. Nostalgics, Effin', Whipped Cream, a bunch of them who were Mashbit, who I got to meet. These were artists that not only was I got
that's crazy.
As an opener on the main stage, I got a artist wristband, which I was the only one out of the 270 or the 40 selected. Me and then I think 2 other people who got second place and third place in the competition, because that was also part of the group chat. It's like the more involved you were, the more invested you were, the more tickets you sold, the more your promo code was used, all these things, the more points you got. And
that's pretty cool. It gamified it, basically.
It gamified it. And also it's like free labor in a way for them.
Totally.
Which makes sense. I mean, you want to sell that festival and you need people to do it. And
And what better people than the people
community.
Performing and the community.
Yeah. So
wow.
So
did you get that bracelet because of what you did?
Yeah, because I opened on the main stage, and you're not allowed on the main stage without the artist bracelet.
So the work that you did in that group chat is what got you that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
The tickets I sold.
That's pretty cool.
And I gotta
Wow.
say thank you so much to all my friends and everyone everyone who supported me to get there. I really appreciate it.
That's
I mean,
huge.
it's a big, like a lot of the artists that applied were like Kansas City area, you know, a few of them from this area, but I had, you know, a lot of encouragement and support from family and friends here who.
So wild, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't even know any of this part.
Yeah,
So we haven't talked about it. That's crazy. That's so sick.
And then to have them all come out and see me open the big stage.
Well, I remember because when I was out of town, obviously, but I remember when you first told me, it was right before we left. I was like, dude, I wish I was in town. You were like, no, not the first one. You don't want to come to the first one.
That's how I felt. So, okay, there was a full range of emotions, and I went through the ringer when it came to that, especially that week before.
Yeah.
The emotions were out of control.
Oh, I'm sure.
Highest highs, lowest lows.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you sent me a text freaking out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I was, yeah.
I was like, dude, it's going to be awesome. Just you get there. It's going to be great.
I've erased the bad memories just because the event went so smooth. But I'm remembering, good. Yeah. I was struggling really hard with like what to play. I knew I had an hour, which was, you know, part of the thing.
Whoa,
you have an hour.
Pretty sweet.
You have an hour to perform. You're the first person to perform. You're setting the tone.
Yeah.
It's a festival, so I started playing as soon as the gates opened, and people were filing in.
Yeah. So you're the.
I'm the sound they're hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first thing.
And
whoa.
It was also so there's a lot of little details that you don't expect that, you know, I was so worried about, but then you get there and you're performing and the things you were worried about aren't the problems, you know. It's other stuff that, like the dust blowing covering the CDJ screens, like, and you're having a hard time looking at the hash marks to, you know, because okay, to be fully frank,
That's crazy.
Not only so I attended my first festival. I opened the main stage at my first attendance to a festival.
That's crazy.
Which is insane. Yeah, and crazy. I mixed it live. Everyone talks about pre-recorded sets and how DJs do it pre-recorded. I did it live. I went from one song to another song to another song to another song in real time.
That's sick.
So
that's pretty sick.
I would say with very limited CDJ experience.
Yeah.
So I started DJing on, if you DJ, you're going to know this controller, the FLX10. It's the premier controller that's, that hooks up to a computer, like a USB controller. So basically the brains is the computer, the controller is the...
like literally the controller.
Yeah,
the tool.
CDJs are standalone units where the computer is reading. It's all one piece. They're the standard for most top tier performance venues and festivals and whatnot. I was watching YouTube videos on how they work and trying to like piece it together. Like while I was on vacation in Florida earlier this year, like while I'm going through all of this process, I'm like I'm recognizing that because I've only been DJing off of playlists on a software. I haven't been, plugging in a USB and then figuring that out, which is a whole nother machine because that means you have to pre-program your set in before you export it to your USB. So that when you plug it in, it's already got everything set up, your cue points and all that. You're not playing it raw. Yeah. And so I upgraded to Rekordbox, which is a software used to set prep. And and there was that learning curve, which took a while. And then came the actual like practice on CDJs. And I was very fortunate to meet a friend out here who became a friend. But through another friend, I met this guy who let me practice on his CDJs.
Oh, nice.
And
that's cool.
So I was able to do like, I think 2 or 3 run-throughs on actual CDJs because the controllers are completely different. So any transition, any effects, all of that is, it's done. If you're doing it live, every controller is different. They're all technically kind of the same, but if you don't know how to do it, to time it, it will jack up your transition.
Oh yeah, and that's terrible.
Yeah. Okay. So I will say that song selection matters most. If you mess up on a transition, but the next song is really good and it comes in hot, that's great. The worst is you stop the music.
Yeah.
Like that's, yikes.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Well, and I've done that a lot. I mean, not a lot, but I've definitely
not at the festival.
Not at the festival. I've definitely had that experience in live settings.
Yeah.
So I DJ'd live at my first festival that I ever attended on the main stage, opening for arguably my top 5, if not top 3 favorite artists of all time.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I didn't even realize like how deep that went.
Yeah,
that's so wild. Do you know how many points, like what the craziest part to me is like there's so many points where you could have been like, I don't do it that way. I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to do. You had to go through an insane learning curve to even get on the stage to do it.
I was definitely not prepared when I first got the opportunity.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you weren't ready at all whenever you said yes to it.
I also didn't know how much time I had for the majority of the running up to the show. Like, because they only gave the time slots after like the majority of the final sales were done.
Right.
Like the competition. Competition. So
Dang.
when I finally found out I had to do an hour, I obviously wanted to be very meticulous about the music I played because it was important to me.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be a reflection of me, but also entertaining.
Yeah.
So I had to, I couldn't just do all my own music due to what I've learned about mixing, energy management and chord progressions and all that. I made a lot of music without the intention of DJing it, or not even intention, without the consideration of DJing it. I made a lot of music without considering DJing.
Totally, you're just thinking of people listening to it in their car.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I make my music. Is like, how are you gonna feel? Because that's how I listen to my music the most. It's like in the car while I'm driving, and or in the gym. It's not really cohesive. They're like individual, like standalone pieces. And so I had to like find a blend of my stuff that worked into like really good tracks that I really loved that also were in the same like genre and flow and just managing that energy throughout the set. And I finally did it, but before I could, and then once I did it, I had to practice mixing every single song into itself over and over and over again. And I would, I'd get 3/4 of the way done and I'd just mess up a transition. And then, so I hadn't made the decision to play it live until like a couple days before, like two days before.
I remember because we talked texting. It was like a Wednesday or something, and it was that weekend. And you were like, I know I shouldn't do this or whatever, but I've got the backup that's like the
pre-recorded set.
The pre-recorded set, yeah, and all that stuff.
Because the thing,
wild.
Even to get the pre-recorded set, you have to play it through. Yeah, you have to perform it and then make sure that it goes good. Because it's still a live. It's a recording of you performing the transitions.
Yeah.
And so I did. To be fair, I did have the pre-recorded set on the flash drive on the back pocket. But if you see any of the live footage of the festival, you'll definitely be able to tell it's not pre-recorded.
Yeah.
Partially because there are some mistakes that I did make through the transitions. It was impossible to hit it nail on the head perfect. But the overall experience was so good that it didn't matter. Like everyone was so excited. I had, for the first time, in my life, I was under the blue sky playing to a crowd of people that had, that were fist bumping and jumping and like getting hyped over the music I was playing.
Yes. And just so stoked to be there.
And I was so out of the negative emotion. Like I had separated myself from it. By the time I got on stage, like I was like, we're here. I mean, just the fact that we're here is enough. Yeah. But let's just have a good time. And that's what I did. So that's when I say it's bittersweet, because I had a taste of what it could be like. And obviously I only played to like the first, like nobody, I learned this, a lot of people in the festival cultures, they don't show up at the very beginning because it's a long experience. They're going to wear themselves out. That's why the more advanced, famous people play towards the end, because they pull the bigger crowds. So it's not like I had a massive crowd. I had the beginning people who were there. Yeah. Mainly, I would say there was, it was like 70-30 vendors to
people to like
people
actual
to vendors, yeah.
People to vendors, yeah.
There's
70 was the people, or 30 was the
70 was the people, 30 was
the vendors. Yeah.
But it was what do they call it? A mile marker, like a benchmark.
Yeah.
It was
well, now, like, man, just being an onlooker on it, it's just so cool, because it's like even cooler than I even thought it was before, because of all the stuff that you had to do and go through to even get there and actually pull it off. And you pulled it off. And so to me, it like just seems like a little seed. It's
absolutely.
Like, oh, we planted this seed so good and spent all the time to make sure, all the elements were there and right and correct. And now you proved yourself that you can actually do it. And it's kind of awesome, because now when another opportunity comes up, like, dude, you're just gonna nail it.
I mean, I'm just going
so
to
exciting
to have the experience to understand what I'm getting myself into. That in of itself is worth, even if I went up there and failed, or in my eyes, like, did a bad performance, understanding what it takes. And here's the thing, like, I was, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, hugging some of these artists, because I was hanging out in behind where all the artists hang out, and they're chopping it up. They're talking about they're regular people, but they have really cool music that people really want to hear. And so what, if anything, my biggest takeaway is like, if you're an artist and if you make music, if you stick with it long enough, you can be on that stage. That was my biggest takeaway.
Wow.
Because they're just, I mean, I was watching, I'm not gonna lie, I was trying really hard not to look like out of place. Like I wanted to look like I belong, but at the same time I was like fanboying in my head. But I was like watching, dudes just scrolling on Instagram like everyone else. They're bored. They're sitting waiting for their set. I'm watching people sweat, watching people, take turns sipping out of the bottle of Patron, like, just like chumming it up. And then there was like some like audio technical difficulty with that side stage. And what's crazy is like some of these big artists with the big names, they didn't play on the main stage. They played on that side stage. So when, I'm making these introductions and they're asking, like, that's the big conversation topic, which stage are you playing on between these artists? And I said I played on the main stage. I mean, they don't know who I am. Right. So they're automatically giving me this, like, respect. Yeah. Equal, like, thing. So they don't know, like, they're being curious and stuff. And I was honest about it. And I was like, dude, this is my first festival. This is my first time performing. This was insane. And, maybe it like did me a disservice to be so like obvious about my thing. But I was just so excited to be able to express this experience and share it with some people. And even if I never see them again, just knowing that like I was there too. I made it there too, and that it was possible.
Totally.
I'm just like,
and you could have quit like so many times. And if you wouldn't have messaged that chick and tried to network with her, I mean, it's just crazy the amount of things that had to happen for you to be on that stage.
Shout out
both
Anna,
in what
Anna
you
Lillis.
do.
Anna, you're the best.
What is it? Say the name.
Anna Lillis.
Anna Lillis
From KC. She
Made it happen.
also, she's a trooper. Like she was there that day making sure all the artists were taken care of. Like she was
nice.
working overtime.
That's cool.
Everyone in the KC community loves her because she's that person. She's very selfless.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was, you know, I don't know if I should share how much some of these artists got paid because
Probably not.
I'm not going to.
You shouldn't.
I was privy to some of those conversations. God bless them. It is like I'm telling you, for the amount of time, for 1 hour, I don't think there's a better way to make that much money. There could not be. And
dude, I've seen some price sheets of not those specific artists, but like those artists, and it's wild. It's crazy to look at.
I'm like, dude, I don't even like. For me, that is a dream. You know, that would be amazing. But it's not about the money. It's just you make a living doing the thing you enjoy.
Yeah.
And I make a living doing a lot of other things so I could do the things that I enjoy, which is making music. And you know, everybody's on their own path, but I really think that, you know, what it actually speaks to is the value that those artists are bringing. If you think about how much money they're getting paid, that just means that many people are interested in witnessing their expression as a human. And that's so
crazy.
So
and
crazy.
Spending their money, like their hard-earned money, to show up to
driving
something like
hours.
that.
You know, in our case, all my friends and all the people who went up there with us, and you know, that bought tickets. They, you know, just drove 3.5 hours to be able to just get an hour of this person's time.
Right.
You know,
so cool.
It is one of the like foremost experiences I've had that validates this journey that I'm on. And it didn't come easy. It came with so much headache, heartache, I'm not gonna lie, I broke down. I had tears because I felt like a fraud because I was having so much trouble getting there, you know, learning. There's so much to figure out.
Yeah.
And then not knowing, you know, if I was going to, because essentially they had the main stage, a side stage, and then all the other artists rotated in with 3 silent discos. So that's that's how they were able to fit so many artists through. So there was music everywhere, and you could, you know, bounce around. If, you know, this next artist wasn't necessarily your flavor, you could jump over here or jump over there, and it was to serve, you know, a broader range of music. But it was really a cool experience, and I'm very grateful for it. Thank you, Phantom Festival.
That's so cool, man. That's so cool. Yeah, I think the big point of that is like you only fail when you give up.
Facts.
Like that's the only time you fail is when you give up. If you push hard enough and you go for it long enough with everything you have, like that's how you reach success.
What else is there to do?
Nothing.
Not for me, dude. Yeah, not for me. I mean,
I love that, man. It's just such a sick story. And we talked recently with these Mix and Momentum, which you're a part of that group.
Yes.
We talked today a lot about like imposter syndrome. And so it's so funny to hear you say that you felt like a fraud during that, because I would look at you as not at all. I mean, I didn't know all those little details. I just knew you could handle it. You know, it was like obvious to me. And so it's like funny hearing you say that you felt like a fraud or an imposter. And we were talking about that a lot today, how like even the most successful, I'm sure people that were headlining that stage feel that same way at times, you know, even though they're at the top of their game, killing it.
They've been doing it for 10 plus years. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild. It's wild.
It is, yeah, this was my first year of DJing. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the next year of DJing brings.
Yeah.
I've definitely learned so much about my music and what resonates with those types of audiences. So that's also reflected in my new production approach.
Yeah.
I think you have to expose yourself. You can create in a bubble, sort of, but you're limiting the input. You have to play your sound on different systems and different clubs and different venues. You have to see what it does and mix with other artists.
and willing to get rejected.
And the willingness to suck,
Yeah.
to accept that you're not good enough and you need to get better.
Totally.
Because I am the first to tell you that, there is an attachment you get to something you create that is that is not it's not justified. Mm-hmm. The things you create aren't always as great as you think they are. You only feel they are that great because you created them, and so you have an attachment.
Bias.
But if you're able to detach yourself from that, and I think that's the ego that creates that like connection that is reinforced and sometimes unjustly so. If you can disconnect the ego and look at it from an objective approach, then you can see all the errors and the flaws that exist and, make the adjustments moving forward and recognize that it'll never be perfect, but as long as you're pursuing it, it will be better.
Yeah.
I think that's very important to know as an artist. At least, I will say this. Everything I speak about, I'm speaking from my experience for myself. If you think it's worth applying to you, definitely do so. But
100%.
I'm not.
This isn't like gospel.
Yeah,
this isn't like.
This is what I've learned about myself.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I feel like you got to like make that like statement.
Yeah.
I feel like I say that stuff all the time because I can get into. Because we're all in our own different experience. And so I can sit here and say like these things that work for me and they, whatever. And then it's so funny because I'll talk to somebody else. They're like, yeah, but I just don't think like that at all. And I'm like, well, yeah, no, totally. I'm not saying to do it at all. Like, I'm just saying this is what I did and it worked. That's it. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, dude, I think this is a really good spot to
wrap it up.
To wrap this one up.
Okay.
I think the biggest point of this whole thing is that like the only time he fails when you give up, man. That's like everything that we're talking about.
That's so true.
Like that's especially when it comes to an artist, man. Especially when it comes to artists.
It's not a linear trajectory. It is a spiral. It is, as you can't see it behind the camera, but there's a loop of extension cord that is basically a snake's nest.
Yep.
And that's basically what the trajectory for me has been.
Yeah.
It is, highs and lows. And it's also the best thing to do if you find that love for something that you want to pursue. I think mastering one thing in this life brings a level of understanding for all things in this life. Pursuing mastery in one thing will bring a level of understanding of the way the life works. It's us appreciating fishing and seeing the parallels. It's us appreciating
the
bowling.
Nuances.
Yeah, respecting the fact that, when a string quartet makes that adjustment, it's because they've put in all that time and effort to get there. When that marching band is making that latency change, it's because they put in all that time and effort to understand the mastery of their skill.
Yep.
And I'm on the pursuit of mastering my song production and dance music making DJ career. So
yes.
and I'm still a baby. I'm still a baby on that course, even though for context, I've been producing since 2016. So almost 10 years of production experience.
Oh yeah. Next year will be 10 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy to hit that stage within 10 years. It's pretty cool.
I appreciate that.
That's a pretty big accomplishment. That's huge.
That. Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot. I went to Full Sail. Like I have a lot of DJ producer friends that, that's their biggest dream of all time, and they still haven't hit it. So, and it's been, I graduated in 2012. So,
yeah,
sweet.
I think every DJ wants to play on a main stage at a festival.
Oh yeah, of course.
Every DJ,
of course.
I even had a few conversations with a few other DJ buddies here locally, and they were all, how?
Yeah.
Everyone is kind of like, and I get it. My trajectory is definitely unique. It's not the normal that I know how lucky I am. I want to say that. I know how fortunate I am.
I mean, yeah, there's 100% luck in it, but I still keep going back to that like none of it would have happened if you wouldn't have had the willingness to look dumb or the willingness to kind of fail when you're reaching out to these people and
Right.
just trying to make connections, you know, like everything stems from that. And that's what like a lot of the watchers of this channel, like a lot of the engineers and stuff, I haven't really talked to a lot of artists, but most of the engineers, it's really interesting because that's something that a lot of people struggle with a lot, is that fear of rejection. Like fear of rejection is huge, you know, and it stops people from reaching out at all. And just like what you said, you wanted to nurture that in a way that was real. You didn't want to just, oh, you have nothing for me, well, I'm going to drop you off.
Yeah.
Because that's so easy to do online. It's so easy to just be like, oh, you don't have what I want? Okay, never mind, you know?
You have to remember, especially if you're interacting with another human being, or you're assuming it's another human being, that they're real. Like it's a real just person. Another person. And so if you're just looking for a transaction, you're not going to be able to, that's what everybody's looking for, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Like make a genuine connection, make a friend. And at the very least, even if you don't get anything, you know, out of it, you'll have just one more person who you can, you know, I try to view every stranger as a potential friend.
Yeah.
That's kind of my approach.
That's a good way to live.
So at the end of the day, if that rejection or whatever was, you know, you approached them and they just weren't interested in what you had to offer, if you're able to leave that interaction with one more person who like is aware of who you are, and just generate a little bit of connection there, then it's still a dub.
Yeah.
Like no's are just no's. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
You know?
Just a word.
So every no, it's cliche, but every no is one no closer to a
yes.
Yeah.
So, that's so cliche, but it is so true, man.
And if you feel like you've been getting a lot of no's, well, maybe get more no's. Like, I don't know how to say it. It's like the volume aspect of it. If I showed like what my DMs look like, it is so many messages sent and so many like not responded. And you know, as a dude, that is embarrassing culturally. You know, to be that kind of person who's like constantly shooting your shot.
Yeah.
But and it's not like I'm not. Some of these messages aren't like, hey, check me out. It's not an open air advertisement. It's not a spam. I'm not like sending my stuff cold. Like I said, it's literally just me like swiping up on a story or saying, yo, that's dope. Or I really like this one. Or just like some kind of genuine interaction that doesn't feel like, you know, because we all get bots and we all get people in our DMs that are, you know, buy this course or do this thing or are you interested in this? But if you're starting the relationship or the connection with some form of support, some form of encouragement without an immediate like sell, you know?
Yeah.
You know, then that's obviously there's some people who are just way too busy to see your stuff or your stuff's getting sent to, you know, the spam folder, but I don't know. It's, if it came down to it, I'd probably write letters. I'd probably track down email or
addresses and stuff and
send letters. Luckily, we have the internet, and you can
it's much
find
easier.
People.
It's much easier now. But there's a bunch of stories from back during that time. That's what people did. They would just send letters and try to get anybody to contact them. So we're kind of in a lucky time period.
Very lucky.
And I've been saying a lot lately, where there is saturation, there's opportunity. And what you're talking about is really, it really puts that in cement, because there's obviously an insane amount of saturation with people trying to sell stuff, trying to send you DMs, trying to whatever, but you're, you know, this person that comes in and is like genuinely interested. You're not just messaging somebody because they have a big following or something. You just like what they're doing.
Yeah.
You genuinely like what they're doing and you think it's cool.
We all scroll on Reels or Instagram, like, and there's so many people in this world that are doing incredible things that aren't getting enough love. If at the very least, even if they don't respond, you're just showing some love to something that's worth it, because we all see cool shit all the time. I think a lot of people are very desensitized to it. And so that, like Instagram, for example, is just like a lot of people scroll without, they'll like something, they'll laugh, they'll giggle, but they won't even, leave an interaction. And to that creator, that interaction, it might not seem like a lot, but it does.
Big deal.
Every little piece helps.
Yeah.
And we live in that time where that's kind of the currency, is like, you need that, you need those likes, you need those comments, you need that algorithm to, push that content further.
Right.
And so obviously from the creator side, I would love to have more of that. But as a consumer, I definitely want to be that kind of person, especially to people who I really think are awesome.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a really quick example of this is there's an artist who now has millions of followers on SoundCloud, millions of monthly listeners, who started a YouTube channel. And I've been following this artist for a while. His name's Angry Baby. Shout out Angry Baby.
That's a great name.
He's dope. He makes house
Angry
music,
Baby.
and he's an insane producer. But he started a YouTube channel, and his YouTube channel's small. Like, it's tiny. It has like 5,000, 4,000 subscribers. And his videos get a couple hundred views. So where do you think I'm going to message this guy? I'm not going to message him. I'm just going to show support on that channel.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say, love this. This is great. Interact with this content.
Right.
Then when I send that DM, it's going to be like, yo, love the YouTube. Love what you're doing. Whatever,
Right.
You create that interaction. So one of his YouTube videos was literally a vlog of him going to Times Square in New York to record a picture and a video of his billboard for his artist name on the square from SoundCloud. SoundCloud put him up on like one of their artists of the week. And it was a cool video. I watched it. I enjoyed it. Well, I DM him on Instagram, and he's got a couple thousand followers on there, or 50,000 followers, I'm not sure. And you just build like this relationship. And obviously, I would love to collab with Angry Baby if that was ever a possibility. I'm a huge fan. But he's already he's one of those artists that I started following when he had, a couple 100,000 followers, and he's already shot through the moon. Once that, because you make good music and you keep putting it out there. Yeah. A couple of years, especially with the algorithm, it's going to find the right people.
Right. Totally.
That's like my big hurdle right now. Is putting the music on TikTok and making the content with TikToks. You got to climb cringe mountain.
Yeah, a little bit.
I have to figure out how to do that.
Yeah,
I have to
hard.
figure out how to do that on TikTok. I've been just focusing on the craft and racking up tracks and content so that once I start posting again, I can stay hot and consistent. But we can wrap it up there if you'd like.
That's so cool. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. That's really cool. That's a I don't want to call it a tactic, but that's like just such a good advice for somebody just trying to connect with other people and trying to find people that, that like it's that just more genuine connection versus just like spamming everybody and seeing if they need help. And especially for like the audio engineers that are probably watching this, because it's the same thing.
They're trying to work with artists. Yeah. That's how you do it. I mean, if I'm just thinking from my perspective, and even if I had, ultimately, if it gets in the DMs, they're going to look at it. Yeah. It'll probably be late, unless they're like super uber famous. And even those people, they'll still check their DMs. Yeah. They'll still, because they're also, to those big fish that you're trying to get, they're small fish to some other big fish. Right. And so they're doing the same thing to, even bigger or different people laterally, but they're looking for that connection. Yeah. So that's how you do it.
Connection, real connection. And there's like more of an opportunity now than ever, really, because there's so much not connection. What is that word? Disconnection.
That's the word. That's also a sign that
I like not connection better.
Yeah, not connection's good.
What did you say is about?
No, I was like, that's a sign. It's about time. We should wrap
it up. It's about time. All right. Well, thanks, man. This was awesome.
I love you, bro. I'm so happy for you.
Man. You too. So proud of you. So proud of you.
Do they know about what's coming up?
I don't know.
Have you shared
I don't
it?
know if I have. I don't think so.
All right, I'll let you do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything.
Well, I'm getting married, but that's all I'll say.
I can't wait.
All right.
I'm so happy
You're going to
for
be
you.
there.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the cliff.
You're going to be on a cliff. It's going to be epic. I'll have something. I'll have something.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Peace.